Hello students, welcome to another session of biology. We were studying the chapter Human Health and Diseases. This is a chapter 8 of class 12th biology. Till now, we have covered the topic about health and introduction to disease. Now, in this session, we will study about the common diseases in humans. So let us begin with our session. Students, in the previous session, we have studied that any condition which interferes with the normal functioning of the body and cause disorder of the mind or body is called a disease. Now, let us study about the organisms that cause diseases in humans. So students, what are pathogens? Pathogens are disease-causing living organisms like bacteria, viruses, fungus, protozoans and parasitic worms. By definition, all parasites are pathogens as they cause harm to the host by living in or on them. Pathogens can enter our body by various means where they multiply and interfere with normal vital activities, resulting in morphological and functional damage to organisms. Pathogens have to adapt to life within the environment of the host. For example, a pathogen that enters the gut must know way of surviving in the stomach at low pH and to be able to resist various digestive enzymes. So students, in this chapter, we will discuss about a few representative members from different groups of pathogenic organisms along with the diseases caused by them and also about the preventive and control measures against these diseases in general. Infectious or communicable diseases can be caused by viruses, bacteria, protozoans, helminthes, fungi, and they attack specific system of our body and produce characteristic symptoms. So students, like I said earlier, the common infectious diseases that are caused by bacteria, virus, protozoan, fungi and helminths. The diseases caused by bacteria are called bacterial diseases, whereas the disease caused by virus is known as viral diseases. And the diseases caused by protozoa are known as protozoan diseases, whereas the disease caused by fungus is known as fungal disease and the disease caused by helminths are known as helminthic diseases. Now let us see some of the examples of diseases caused by bacteria. The diseases caused by bacteria are typhoid, tuberculosis, pneumonia, cholera and diarrhea. So these are the diseases caused by bacteria. Now let us see some of the examples of diseases that are caused by viruses. Influenza, swine flu, common cold, dengue, chikungunya, AIDS, chickenpox, etc. These are the diseases caused by viruses. Whereas the examples of diseases caused by protozoans are malaria and amoebiasis. So, malaria and amoebiasis are caused by protozoans. The disease caused by fungi is known as fungal disease and example is ringworm. So, ringworm is a fungal disease. The last one, the disease caused by helminths. Ascariasis and elephantiasis are the examples of disease caused by helminths. So let us first look at in detail the bacterial diseases. So what is bacterial disease? Bacterial diseases are the ones that are caused by bacteria. Bacteria cause a number of diseases in humans. Typhoid, pneumonia, tuberculosis, cholera and diarrhea are some of the common bacterial diseases. In this session, let us discuss about two common bacterial diseases, that is typhoid and pneumonia. Typhoid is a common communicable disease in India. It is highly infectious and about 2.5 million people suffer from it every year. It affects all age groups, though children with 1 to 15 years of age are more prone to it. Students, now let us see what is the cause of typhoid. Typhoid is caused by the bacteria Salmonella typhi that infects the intestine of man. Now let us see how does this bacteria enter our body. The bacteria enter the body through food and water contaminated by fecal matter or excreta of a typhoid patient. Houseflies are the common carriers that spread infection. They are attracted towards human waste and transfer bacteria from fecal matter to food through their feet and hair. After entering into the human body, the pathogens generally enter the small intestine and migrate to other organs through blood. So what are the symptoms of typhoid? The symptoms of typhoid begin 1 to 4 weeks after the bacteria enter the body. Typhoid fever can be identified by observing the following symptoms. To begin with, the person suffers from loss of appetite, tiredness, general weakness, headache and high fever, that is 39 to 40 degree Celsius. The fever is high in the afternoon. The person's appetite is poor, tongue is coated and lips are covered with brownish deposit. Stomach pain, constipation or diarrhea are common. Intestine perforation and death may occur in severe cases. Typhoid fever can be confirmed by Vidal test. So what is Vidal test? It is a test to detect typhoid fever. A classic case in medicine, that of Mary Mallon, nicknamed as Typhoid Mary, is worth mentioning here. She was a cook by profession and was a typhoid carrier who continued to spread typhoid for several years through the food she prepared. So students, we studied about the first bacterial disease, that is typhoid. Typhoid is caused by the bacteria Salmonella typhi. We also studied various symptoms and what test is to be done to detect typhoid. Next, let us study about another common bacterial disease, which is pneumonia. Bacteria like Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae are responsible for the disease pneumonia in humans. Pneumonia infect alveoli of the lungs, where the alveoli get filled with a fluid, resulting in the decrease of respiratory efficiency of the lungs. Now let us see how do people catch pneumonia. Pneumonia is spread by inhaling droplets or aerosol from infected persons and sharing glasses and utensils with an infected person. Now let us study about symptoms of pneumonia. Most people who develop pneumonia initially have symptoms of cold, which are then followed by high fever, shaking chills and a cough with a sputum. In severe cases, the lips and fingernails may turn grey to bluish in color. So till now, we studied about bacterial diseases. Bacterial diseases is one of the infectious diseases. Under bacterial disease, we studied about two important diseases, which were typhoid and the second one was pneumonia. Apart from typhoid and pneumonia, there are other bacterial disease also. Which are they? They are dysentery, plague and diphtheria. So, dysentery, plague and diphtheria are some of the other bacterial diseases in human beings. So, after studying about the bacterial diseases, Let us study another type of infectious disease which is caused by virus, and such diseases are known as viral diseases. So, viral diseases are caused by viruses. Under viral diseases, we will study in detail about few diseases such as common cold, dengue fever and chikungunya. Let us study about them one by one in detail. So, under viral disease, let us begin by studying one of the most common disease that we all get whenever it gets cold or whenever it rains, and that disease is the common cold. Now, common cold is caused by a virus, and what is the name of the virus? It is caused by a group of viruses called rhinoviruses. These viruses infect the nasal epithelium and respiratory passage, but not the lungs. The symptoms of common cold is nasal congestion and discharge, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache, tiredness, which usually lasts for 3 to 7 days. Now let us study how common cold is spread. Droplets resulting from cough or sneezes of an infected person are either inhaled directly or transmitted through contaminated objects such as pens, books, cups, doorknobs, computer keyboard or mouse, and cause infection in a healthy person. So the first viral disease that we covered is common cold. Now let us look at another viral disease, which is dengue. Dengue is caused by the virus flavivirus. Dengue is transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti mosquito infected with the dengue virus. It affects infants, young children and adults with symptoms appearing 3 to 14 days after the infective bite. There is no vaccine or specific medicine to treat dengue. People who have dengue fever should rest and drink plenty of fluids. As I told you earlier, dengue virus is transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti. This species of mosquito flourishes during rainy seasons. However, they can breed all round the year in clean water, water-filled pots, plastic bags and cans. One mosquito bite is strong enough to inflict the disease. The virus by itself is not contagious and does not spread from person to person. It requires the mosquito as a medium and a person to mosquito and to another person pathway. The symptoms of dengue fever are high fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, muscular and joint pain, and rash. So we have covered two viral diseases so far. Let us look at another viral disease which is called chikungunya. Chikungunya is a viral disease caused by an alpha virus called chikungunya virus, that is transmitted in humans by the bite of infected Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. It causes severe and persistent joint pain, body rash, headache and fever. Initial symptoms are similar to dengue fever. It is usually not life-threatening, but the joint pains can last for very long time and full recovery may take months. Usually, patients get lifelong immunity from this infection, and so hence reinfection is very rare. Now let us see what are the symptoms of chikungunya. Chikungunya typically starts with one or more of the following symptoms: chills, high fever up to 104 degree Fahrenheit, vomiting, nausea, headache and persistent joint pain. The attack is sudden and sometimes it is accompanied with rashes. So students, so far under infectious diseases, we have studied about the bacterial diseases and viral diseases. Now, students, some of the human diseases are caused by protozoans, and such diseases are known as protozoan diseases. Let us study about two common protozoan diseases in detail. The first one we will study about malaria, and the second one we will study about amoebic dysentery. So let us begin by studying about malaria. Malaria is caused by a protozoan, Plasmodium. Plasmodium falciparum causes the most serious and fatal malignant malaria. The vector of Plasmodium is female Anopheles mosquito, which transfers the sporocytes. The treatment is by anti-malarial drugs like quinine or chloroquine. Malaria can be prevented by killing mosquitoes by spraying DDT, BHC, etc. and using insect repellents, mosquito nets, etc. So students, Plasmodium is the causative organism of malaria. So let us study the life cycle of Plasmodium. Plasmodium requires two hosts to complete its life cycle, human and mosquito. A sexual phase of Plasmodium occurs in the human host. The sporozoites enter the human body through the bite of an infected female Anopheles mosquito. They reach the liver through the blood and multiply within the liver cells. Such liver cells burst and release the parasite into the blood. The parasite enters RBCs, multiply in them and cause their rupture. The rupture of RBCs is associated with the release of a toxin called hemozoin, which is responsible for the chill and high temperature of the body. The sexual phase of Plasmodium starts with the formation of gametocytes in the RBCs of man. The parasite then enters the female Anopheles mosquito along with the blood when it bites the infected person. Fertilization and further development of zygote up to the formation of sporocyte take place in the intestinal wall of the mosquito. The sporocytes are transported to and stored in the salivary glands of the mosquito and are transferred to a human body during the bite of the mosquito. After entering the human body, all the events are repeated. So, under the protozoan diseases, we have studied about malaria, and we also studied about the life cycle of Plasmodium. Let us now look at another disease which is caused by protozoa, and the disease is amoebic dysentery or amoebiasis. Amoebic dysentery is caused by a protozoan endoparasite Entamoeba histolytica found in large intestine of humans. Housefly acts as a mechanical carrier and transmits the parasite from fecus of infected person to the food. Infection takes place through food and water contaminated by fecal matter. Symptoms of amoebiasis include abdominal pain, constipation, cramps, stool with excess mucus and blood clots. So students, so far we have studied about various infectious diseases. Firstly, we studied about bacterial diseases. Then we studied about viral diseases, and also we studied about protozoan diseases, which was malaria and amoebic dysentery. Now let us look at another infectious disease which is caused by fungi. Such diseases are known as fungal diseases. So students, the fungal diseases are caused by fungi. Now, under the fungal disease, let us discuss about ringworm. Ringworm is caused by fungi of genera Microsporum, Trichophyton and Epidermophyton. Human infection occurs either through contact with an infected person or from soil. It also spreads through towels, clothes, combs, etc. of the infected persons. Heat and moisture help these fungi to grow that makes them thrive in skin folds like in groin or between toes. Symptoms of ringworms include appearance of dry, scaly lesions on various parts of the body such as skin, nails and scalp as shown in figure are the main symptoms of disease. These lesions are accompanied by intense itching. So students, so far we studied about various infectious diseases. We studied about bacterial diseases, viral diseases and fungal diseases. Now let us study about another type of infectious disease which is caused by helminths. The diseases caused by helminths are known as helminthic diseases. Now under helminthic disease, we will study in detail about two diseases. Which are they? They are ascariasis and filariasis. Ascaris, the common roundworm, and Wucheria, the filarial worm, are some of the helminths which are known to be pathogenic to man. Now let us study about the mode of infection of ascariasis. Ascariasis is one of the most common parasite found in man. Children are invariably affected by it. Ascariasis has a simple life cycle, man being the only host. Eggs pass out along with the fecus and get mixed with the soil, water and plants. The infection can occur by swallowing food or vegetables contaminated with such soil or water or by eating with dirty hands. Symptoms of ascariasis include internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia and blockage of the intestinal passage. Now let us study about filariasis. Filariasis is also known as elephantiasis. It is caused by filarial worm Wucheria bancrofti and Wucheria malai. Female Culex mosquito is the vector. The pathogens are transmitted to a healthy person through the bite by the female mosquito vectors. The symptoms of filariasis is inflammation of organs in which the filarial worm live, blockage of lymph vessels of lower limbs resulting in swelling. Lower limbs appear like legs of elephant, thus the name. Genital organs may also be affected, leading to deformation. Now so far we studied about various infectious diseases which were caused by bacteria, viruses, protozoan, fungi and helminths. Next let us know how we can prevent and control such infectious diseases. For diseases transmitted through food and water like typhoid, amoebiasis and ascaris can be controlled by two methods. One is maintenance of personal hygiene and the second one is maintenance of public hygiene. Maintenance of personal hygiene include keeping the body clean, consuming clean drinking water, food, vegetables and fruits. Maintenance of public hygiene include proper disposal of waste and excreta, periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs and pools, standard practice of hygiene in public catering. In case of airborne diseases like pneumonia, common cold, We can prevent or control the disease by maintaining personal hygiene, maintaining public hygiene, and close contact with infected persons or their belongings should be avoided. For vector-borne diseases like malaria, filariasis, dengue, chikungunya, the most important measure is eradication of vectors and their breeding places. Use of mosquito nets, avoid stagnation of water, introduction of fishes like Gambusia in ponds that feed on mosquito larvae, spray insecticides in ditches, drainage areas, swamps, wire meshes at doors and windows to prevent entry of mosquitoes. And finally, another prevention method is vaccination and antibiotics. The advancements made in biological science have armed us to effectively deal with many infectious diseases. The use of vaccines and immunization programs have enabled us to completely eradicate a deadly disease like smallpox. A large number of other infectious diseases like polio, diphtheria, pneumonia, and tetanus have been controlled to a large extent by the use of vaccines. Discovery of antibiotics and various other drugs has also enabled us to effectively treat infectious diseases. So let us recap what all we have studied so far in this chapter, which is human health and disease. In today's session, we studied about the common infectious diseases. Under the common infectious diseases, we studied that disease can be caused by bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungi, and helminths. So we studied about various bacterial diseases, viral diseases, protozoan diseases, and fungal diseases, and finally about the helminthic diseases. We studied about the various causative organisms of these diseases and the symptoms of this disease. After studying about all these common infectious disease, we looked at how we should prevent and control such infectious diseases. That's all for today's session. Thank you and have a nice day.